Hi, I'm Rob from Chandler, Arizona. Over the next few days, I plan to share with you the installation of my Mr. Cool 36K triple zone mini split. Now, one of the air handlers will be installed here in the garage, in this area here behind me. A second in the living room, the third in the master bedroom. Now, the air handler going in the living room, I chose to put on the inside wall, so it has to be done a little bit differently. I can't run the drainage to the outside because of the angle of the ceilings and the height. So I didn't see anything on YouTube kind of covering what I'll be doing, so I figured I'd share that with you. I'll be doing all my own work on this project, including the electrical work. I'm very comfortable with that. However, if you are not, I suggest you seek a licensed contractor. I also recommend that you plan this project before you buy anything. Look at the space you need to cool, and the BTUs needed for that. Check your breaker panel for free space. Also look at where you plan to place the condenser and the length from your condenser to your breaker panel. Check all that information so you know what you begin yourself into cost-wise and the amount of work that's needed. So it's starting to get a little hot in Chandler now, so I suggest we get started. So after unpacking the condenser, I realized, yeah, it's quite large. So in order to align the holes properly, what I've done is place it on a piece of cardboard that will cover the footprint, and then I marked them. So here's the location of my breaker panel, and I can see here I have several spots available for spare breakers. I'll be installing one 40 amp breaker for the Mr. Cool 36K unit. The minimum is 30 amps, maximum is 45 amps. I chose 40 with the length of the cable I'm going to be running, which will be 6 gauge through conduit underneath the concrete here. So that's kind of be a messy job, so we're gonna get started on that. It's getting hot out here. I'll be running the electrical under the pavement here, all the way over here. I'm using a water jet mechanism that I made. It's simple, just a PVC with threaded in on one side and a nozzle on the other side, and that's what I'll be using to hopefully barrier through the dirt underneath this pavement. That should be the fun. So what I've done is trench this out on both sides of the pavement. One here, one here. I'll probably start on this side just because it looks like there's less cement. I'm not sure exactly where this might line up or how deep it is, but I'll start on that side with the water jet. So it should be interesting. So this is my hose bib. It's just a 3/4 inch PVC pipe with a hose bib glued on one side and a nozzle on the other. Now it's not going to reach all the way across my cement pad here, so what I've chosen to do, I'm going to use one of my old Siemens 38mm fork tubes and use it to extend my water jet so I can reach halfway on each side. So otherwise, if you have a PVC with inside diameter of 1.25 inches, then I can use it. But this is what I had laying around, so that's what I'm going to use. Alright, well, let's see how this works out. I'm going to get started on this. Here we go. Alright, I extended my setup, so here I'm going to try it again. On this side, I'm going to go all the way through. while I'm waiting for my mud pies to dry out back, I'm going to install the air handler here in the garage. Now, the first thing I need to do is find the studs. Not really so much to mount the unit, but I want to avoid the 3.5-inch hole I need to drill with the pipes. I want to avoid the stud, so I want to find the stud, make sure that it doesn't line up with that hole. So that's what I'll do, and see how that comes out. So I've located the studs. I'm only going to use one stud, and I'm going to use it on the center position here, and then I'll use the anchors for these 4 other screws. So what you want to do is make sure, once you find your stud, make sure the other stud does not interfere with the piping part. So after that, just use a level like the instructions say. Level the template they give you, and then make your holes. There we have it. And next, we drill the hole for the plumbing, and then mount the unit. All right. All right. There we have it. And so we drill a hole for the plumbing. You can mount it. And before I drill my 3.5-inch hole, I want to prep the air handler. So you point out the lines gently. And you drill them straight out. Then I'm going to wrap them with the drain hole at the bottom. This is this fabric tape I'm using. Alrighty. So now I'm installing the second indoor unit. We'll be going here above the soffit. I'll have to go through the attic for the plumbing, and the drainage will be done a little bit different, so I'll show that when I'm up in the attic. That should be lots of fun. Not really. It's 100 degrees here. So, we'll see how this goes. It should be fun. First, you want to find your studs. One, to avoid drilling a 3.5-inch hole through one. And second, to mount the mounting bracket on at least one of them. So that's the first step. All right, now I'm ready to install the hang the indoor unit. That's it. So now that the mud is dry, I'm going to pull my cable through. What I've done is wrap the baling wire around the conduit, and I'm going to duct tape the entire length of the remaining of the cable so I can pull it through with my baling wire. Around where the conduit meets the wire, I put a plastic bag and I taped around there just to make a cone so that it doesn't catch any dirt as it pulls through. And I'll just This is victory. It might look like a big mess, which it is right now, but it will go away. But I finally got the cable through after 3 days, much water, a lot of mud, a few scratches, but finally got it pulled it through. So, yahoo! This is victory. This is kind of what I've done so far. All right, fantastic. Time to get my butt to work. All right, once the hole's made through, you can go ahead and feed the cable first. And then mount the system. Of course, you need to cut your sleeve to the right size before you want to do that. Make sure that's cut and fitted properly. And there we go. It's mounted. So the indoor unit comes out right down here. So I plan to run the plumbing through here, this way, and out the wall right there. So here we go. Gotta get in here. I've already set my boards in here. I'll save you that, spared you that pleasure of seeing that. power before I get in here. Alright, so I'm done with that. Thank God. So I had to cut a hole through the 2x4 basically. Then I took the long drill bit and drilled a small hole to the outside. So I'll go around to the outside now and cut another 3-inch hole so I can get through there. I don't have to go back in that space again, thank God. So all I need to do is go back in the attic to connect the plumbing. Not a problem with that. So got that done and over with. Get to the other side here. Alright, the shower is more in order, so that's all good. So let's go see where I came out on the other side. Alright, we can see I came out right there. That's really close to the roof, but I will I'll probably go flat into it. Let me see if we can cut the hole to the outside here. So I had to cut through like about 6 inches of wood. The other pieces are inside, but got through. Glad I didn't have to do that from the inside of that in that position. I'm going to feed the plumbing through now. That might be it. Let's see. Go up in the attic now. Check it out. It's all connected inside in the attic. All that's fine. Now, time to install the unit. Okay. So for the outside unit, the condenser, I've chosen to elevate it off the ground using 4 3.5-inch, 12-inch length PVC pipes filled with cement. I have limited spacing around where I'll be setting the unit for venting, so I emailed Mr. Cool my dimensions, and they said that it should work properly for venting the system. I'll be using 4 PVC pipes filled with cement. I made a 30 by 19 3/8 box out of 2x4s to align and set them, and that's all I'll be using it for. I won't be pouring any cement for a foundation, but just elevating them with the pedestals. That's my plan. We'll see how that works out. Alright, so what I've done for the foundation, I dug 4 holes and set my fixture with the PVC post in place with some gravel for draining, and I also put a rebar in each one of them for strength at the base so it won't move around. And I leveled it. So now I'm ready to pour some cement in there. Alright, here we are connecting electricity to the unit. One thing I want to make a note of, these terminals are really small. There's no way you can connect 6-gauge wire to these without the use of this, lugs. So I went to Home Depot and got these 2 lugs for less than $2.50 for the package of 2 of them. And what I did, I machined off the sides to make them 0.300 of an inch, so they'll fit in here. And but you can cut them, grind them, whatever. But basically, you still have the hole is intact, and you can bolt these on just like so, without having to fight with it too much. Right? I had to bend them a little bit to angle them so I can get them away from each other, and so I can mount the bracket on top of them to hold them and secure them. But you'll figure that out. But just a heads up, you'll need to get these. Make it close up. These 2 lugs or something similar to connect them up here, because there's no way you can put 6-gauge wire here. Just want to make a note of that. So be prepared for that. Here we are again in my attic, my most happy place to be. Not really, but that's got to be done. So this is the last part of the project. I'm going to check the joint here for leaks with some soapy water. As in no problems. As does that one. You want to make sure to check all your joints before you wrap them up, obviously. And that looks great. So now I can wrap it up. The pipe's all wrapped. Everything checked out. So what I wanted to share with you was the drain line. So as you can see, this is the drain line here. Because this is angled upward, I can't run the drain line through the outside down through there, right? So what I did was I routed it downward all the way to my drain pan for my air conditioner. As you can see, got it going through there and draining into the pan into there. Nice, up tight right there. All right, 3 years later, I'll show you what the end result is. It's an electrical panel, 48 breaker for the mini split here. Also I installed some other, previously I installed other circuits. Also this time I installed a spare 68 breaker for expansion. So the line for the mini split runs down below here. The cement here. Here's my spare line. The mini split line comes up here, and here's the emergency pullout or service pullout box. And it runs to the mini split. It comes in there right here. This is what my mini split sounds like running all 3 air handlers. It's very quiet. Again, mounted on the 4 pedestals. Keeps it very clear with a lot of the leaves and such. And provides really good air circulation. So there's 3 lines. One goes here. Over the door. And into the garage. Then I have the 2. Obviously the bigger cover, right? One goes up. This one goes into the attic to the inside wall air handler. The most time-consuming one to do for sure. It runs this way. And that one's for the master bedroom. Definitely the covers were time consuming to install, but here in Arizona I felt it was well worth it. To keep the sun off the lines. I ended up with extra line, of course. It is what it is. But very pleased with this outcome. Very quiet, very efficient. Now, the best part, well, the second to the best part, is the bill. My electric bill from before I had the mini split and after. And that's with having my air conditioned garage. So, very pleased. So, the end result is a nicely air conditioned garage and a lower bill doing that. So, that's just fantastic. I also have the ability to cool just my bedroom or heat just my bedroom or heat just the living room or cool just the living room. So, it's very flexible and they work great. They cool down and heat quickly, and they only circulate the air inside the dwelling. The entire project probably cost me around $3,900. The unit was $34 from Home Depot, and then electrical and breakers, and I installed additional electrical, so it's that's kind of above the cost of what an average would be. So, and all the covers for the plumbing, that was probably about $200. So I found those on Amazon. There's lots of choices. It's a little time consuming to paint all the stuff and assemble it, but the end result I'm very pleased with. So highly recommend it. I don't know why I didn't do this sooner. So if you have any comments, leave them below. Thank you so much for viewing my video, and have a wonderful day. Bye.